sound like a lot of money, but if you realize that that's got to carry you because you're a later pick, that's got to carry you probably 5 years in the minors. It's really only like $18,000 a year. It's better. It's better. It's better than nothing, but it's not exactly a livelihood. You know, so you don't get a lot of those guys to sign. So that's the reason why it's so long, and that's why I have those things. But I think the real difference is it's like in these other sports, we sort of get to know the pre-basketball player, the pre-football player, because we watch college football, or at least we watch the Bulls, or at least we watch like the college playoff games, or we watch the March Madness, or whatever. And so you sort of see, a bunch of these guys, and so you sort of know them when the draft comes up. And most of these guys, because we don't really watch these baseball games, we don't know. I mean, I'm a baseball, fanatic, and I watch prospects, and I've probably seen 4 of these guys anywhere before the draft. Now I've seen probably 20 of them or 25. It's like it's just impossible to know. I have friends that are big time writers on prospects, and they literally wait for the draft to be the time that they start honing in on who to pay attention to, which I think really is the key of what the minor league draft is. When you watch college football and you root for like UCF like I do, you sort of hope they wind up in the pros on your team or wind up in the pros at all, but they don't. In baseball, you're introduced to your set of future possible players on draft day, and you go, the Cubs, I'm a Cub fan. The Cubs took a big reach by drafting Ryan Jensen. Most people had him as a late second, possibly third rounder, but I'm going to trust that they know something I don't know. And these are the guys that I'm going to get excited about for a while. And the big guys, the Adley Rushmans, the J.J. Witts, the guys like Beatty and Vaughn, I know those are going to be the future stars on other teams. They're going to be guys that I'm going to be drafting in fantasy leagues like Josh Bell or Joey Gallo or whatever, But we don't get the introductory moment until this comes up. It's just kind of odd. Baseball.
I do want to make a correction though, Doug, and that's I do follow college baseball just a little bit, just so I can celebrate UCF Elimination Day, which is usually the day they announce regionals, or as I like to call it, the Road to Omaha Day.
You and I, when we talk, we actually do talk UCF baseball more than probably any 2 human beings on the planet.
And this year's embarrassing college that made it to a super regional, while UCF never has. Last year it was Stetson. This year it's East Carolina, a university that is so derelict in its duties to education that it named itself after a state that doesn't even exist. They made it to a super regional, Doug.
There was actually one worse team. There was like something like, I think there was the team there called something like University of College. It was something just so stupid that I'm like, how the hell did they get in and we don't get there? You want to hear the insulting UCF story of the draft? UCF had 4 players drafted. They were all drafted in late rounds. Do you know how many pitchers were drafted from Rollins College?
5?
4. Rollins freaking College, a school that's only good for tennis players and cocaine, got 4 pitchers. In the thing, Rollins is a local school, Steve. It's a local.
Hold on, it's not just a local school. It's a local school which has been very good at baseball for a long time. That they have been. They're not at a high. They're not a big school, so they're not at a big level in their conference. But they've been a good team for a long time.
Well,
my son went there. My ex-wife worked there. I'm familiar with the Rollins baseball team.
I bring this up because when I went to college, I talked to like Northwestern, Notre Dame, some of the big schools, and I thought I might go to Florida because I just wanted to get the hell away from everybody. And I actually thought about going to Rollins, and my counselor said, "You don't want to go to Rollins. It's only good for 2 things: tennis players and cocaine." So that's all thing I ever think about when I think of Rollins. Now,
that is a terrible thing for a person to say.
That is excellent.
Bad work on their part.
There's a guy in Chicago.
It says a guy's talking with some folks at work, and the new boss comes walking by right when he says, Canada's only good for 2 things: hockey players and hookers. And And as the boss goes by, he says, "Hey, my wife's from Canada." And the guy doesn't even skip a beat. He says, "What position does she skate?"
He's got a good slap shot. No, that's the thing. No, as a UCF guy, I'm allowed to make fun of Rollins whatsoever. I'm calling absolute shenanigans. There's no chance that a guidance counselor who's paid money to give advice to people John Curlin, Gordon Tech High School, he literally said that to me.
There's no chance that this person who's still employed in education in any way.
He's got to be like 70 now. But that's how big the tennis and cocaine like aura of Rollins College wafted all the way up 760 miles to the north. Chicago knew that, but
I'm in abject disbelief.
Why do you think Mr. Rogers went there?
Did he? That's none of that's true. Mr. Rogers did go there, but did he have other schools that were good for other drugs? Oh, you're interested in heroin? Definitely, for sure, Gonzaga.
I think the gist was he didn't realize like the slacker part of me, and like I had been accepted to U of Chicago, Northwestern, Harvard, Stanford, and I was thinking about going to some blow-off little school in Florida. You know what I mean? I think that the advice was that it was like, Doug, you're better than that. You know. Now I think that over the years I've proven that I'm not. You know. But that was where it came from. But it's always stuck with me. When I dated a girl that went to Rollins, 25 years ago, I told her that story, and she did not disagree. Anyway, you know what?
What time it is? I hadn't mentioned this earlier, but you know what time it is now?
7:50.
Yeah, it is time to do some trivia. Woohoo!
Trivia brought to you by Rollins College.
We got two things down.
I am the 5-Minute Professor. You can find out all about my trivia shows and my live streaming of the instant gratification round. You can find all of that if you go to 5-Minute Professor on Facebook or YouTube. All right. So today... we are going to have a series of questions about something which Chris Sale did this week. He had his second immaculate inning of the season, 9 pitches, 9 strikes. He did that against the Royals. As a result, we're going to have 5 questions. Are you folks
Hello?
ready? Last week. What, are you not hearing me?
There was a little bit of a bleed, but it's good now.
All right, good enough. All right, so, Doug, you're going to go first. Here's question number 1. How many different pitchers have thrown at least one immaculate inning? Doug, do you have a guess?
This year or forever?
Forever.
I don't know, 22?
22. It's a higher number. What do you think about that, Brandon?
47?
It's a higher number than that. What do you think, Stevie O?
74.
It's 90. 90 different pitchers have thrown at least one immaculate inning. 97 different pitchers have thrown it. The first immaculate inning was thrown June 4th, 1889. You're going to need to write down your answers. The first immaculate inning was thrown June 4th, 1889.
Charles Olaf's Radburn.
It was between the Bean Eaters and the Quakers. Today, the teams that in 1889 were known as the Bean Eaters and the Quakers are known by what team name? You'll get 1 point for each one you get right. So, Doug, you'll get to go first. What are the 2 teams that you think were the Bean Eaters and the Quakers? What teams are they today?
The Red Sox and Phillies.
All right. Brandon, what do you think the 2 teams were that today are known as the Bean Eaters and the Quakers?
Going to go with the Red Sox. And since he already went with the Phillies, I'm going to go with the other Philadelphia team from back in the day, the A's.
All right. All right, so, Stevie, it's your choice. I want you to know that neither one of them got them both correct. They each have neither one of them got them both correct. So, what do you think it is? The Bean Eaters and the Quakers, what are the 2 teams known as today?
I'd say the Red Sox and the White Sox.
All right, those are all great guesses. However, the Bean Eaters were the National League team, you nimrods. They're playing the Phillies. And as a result, it's the Braves.
So Phillies Braves, I got one.
It was Phillies Braves. Doug got 1 point.
They ate beans in Boston, But he had some Braves.
Yes, but they were the Boston Braves.
Yeah, that's right.
And then the Milwaukee Braves, and then the Atlanta Braves. Mm-hmm. All right. There has been only one immaculate inning pitched in the World Series. Back in 1985, Danny Jackson was pitching for what team when he threw one in the 7th inning of a crucial Game 5? Is that the Royals, the Phillies, or the Reds? Is it the Royals, the Phillies, or the Reds when Danny Jackson threw his only immaculate inning? What do you think, Doug?
I went with the Phillies.
All right. What do you think, Brandon?
I'm going to go with the Royals.
What do you think, Stevie O?
I'm going to go with the Reds.
Everybody has a guess in there. That means only one of you can be right. And this time, it's Brandon. He was pitching for the Royals. He did also pitch for the Phillies and the Reds in his career. He also pitched a crucial Game 5 for the Phillies. What lefty, and that was in 1994, what lefty, 7-time All-Star and 4-time World Series champion, is the only pitcher to have 3 career immaculate innings? What lefty, a 7-time All-Star and 4-time World Series champion, is the only pitcher to have 3 career immaculate innings? Doug, what do you think?
Sandy Koufax.
Brandon, what do you think?
I'm trying to remember whether Andy Pettitte was left-handed or not. If so, I'm going to go with him.
All right. And what do you think, Stevie O? 7-time All-Star, 4-time World Series champion, the only pitcher to have 3 career immaculate innings, and he was a lefty.
I was going to go with Pettit as well.
All right. So right now, Doug is leading 2-1-0, but it doesn't matter because on this final question, it's anyone's game because you can get 3 points on this question and still win. That's if you get it exactly right. If nobody gets exactly right, who's ever closest will get 2 points and still possibly not win. Of the 97 immaculate innings that have been pitched, how many were thrown in the 9th inning of a game? There have been 97 immaculate innings in the history of Major League Baseball. How many of them were thrown in the 9th inning of a game? This is going to be a number, so you're going to write down your number. And if you are correct, you will get 3 points. And if you are just closest, you will get 2 points. That means that 2 players have a chance to win, even if they're just close. A lot more pressure on Stevie O. Stevie O, as a result, you get to go first. Of the 97 immaculate innings, how many of these were thrown in the 9th inning of a game?
Well, I think it's got to be fairly high because it's the big closer-type pitchers that do it often. So I'm going to go with 34.
34. All right. What do you think, Brandon?
I'm going to go a little higher than an average per inning, so I'm going to go with 15.
All right. And Doug?
I wanted to go a little bit under average per inning. I went with 7 because I wanted to call back to last week when Stevie O didn't know that number 7 on the Yankees was Mickey Mantle, and I forgot to mention it.
So,
oh God,
the one that is closest to the correct answer is off by only 7, which in this particular case is pert near 50% wrong.
I am 50% wrong.
But still, good enough for a win for this week. Closest but not correct. The first 9th inning immaculate inning came in 1959 because for so long the starters were still pitching in the 9th inning. There have been 22 of them. And our winner this week is Brandon.
Oh, I thought I won.
The long national nightmare is over.
Yeah, by the way, here's a spare fact. The latest that an immaculate inning has been thrown in a game was the 12th inning back in 1923. That's the 5th one of all time. It was the 12th inning of a game pitched by a man named Sloppy Thurston.
Good old Sloppy. Well, thanks to you guys for being here. Thanks to the guys in the chat room. I saw Lou Cha-Cha out there a little bit. Thanks to the guys that do the music. G. Cinco on his clothes. Technical director on the front end. Remember that in just an hour you'll be able to hear Lou Landers and Lucas Berry. They'll cover the waiver wire. We survived.
Excellent news. We survived.
We survived.
All
And
right.
we're cutting off at 59 minutes and 53 seconds. We are damn good. Of course,